Hi, my name is Renee. I'm glad you've landed here. It's the 19th of May today. It is cold out here. I am doing this outside because my husband is practicing guitar. This is a frequent occurrence in our lives because he's a guitar player and practices guitar a fair amount, especially in the non-working hours, which I am recording this in. I have some footage that I have already recorded that I am going to be editing and making into a video, which is getting a room ready for an adult child to come and visit. So I have footage of that. Footage, is that what we call it? I have recording of that process because it's a bit of a process in our house, which doesn't have a dedicated guest bedroom. It is a process to make up rooms for guests, but it's a process that I enjoy, which you will see shortly. I have that recording done. I haven't sat down to look at those recordings yet. My process so far is that I just record stuff. I have some idea in mind of what I might be wanting to produce. I record it, but I sit down on a given day to do that, and I'm never sure exactly what I'm going to find in my recordings and how it's going to pull together. So I'm recording this little bit of me talking to be able to use it as either introduction or explanation or added context for that video, which is actually this video. Yeah. I watch a fair amount of videos, and there's not a lot of talk by the video creators of the process itself. And I am a process person. I like to understand processes. I like to understand why and how people are doing things the way they're doing it. I've been writing for many years now as a blogger, and my blogging developed into essay writing. I don't think that many people read essays much online anymore. Maybe, I don't know. I still do it. And I evaluate and unearth and discuss my thinking process and even my process of writing in my writing. So I would say I'm quite process oriented. I do not want to get too deep into the weeds here in this particular video, or even in my videos in general about my video making process. However, I am open to how it evolves. And if I need to talk about what it's like to make them, I will. And today I'm talking a little bit about that. So I will be sitting down to edit and put together the video recording that I did of the room preparation in getting a room ready for our young adult daughter who came to visit us. She lives in Montreal. All of our kids live in Montreal. And our youngest came to visit us in early May, and I had to get her room ready for her. I'm telling that one story in this video on purpose because the month is actually full of so many different things, and it can be difficult to know what to take recordings of, what story I want to tell about this month. So there is a bit of almost too much, really, too much of things. And so I wanted to choose something that was a discrete, here is a beginning to end idea or story. So there was that reason for just telling that one thing. The other reason is that I'm still new at this video making thing, but I don't do video or very much video when people are around or when we have other people in our home. People's comfort, how people feel in our home is really important to me. And I don't want to be doing video, even of myself, when we have other people around for their comfort and mine. I'm still new at doing this. I still feel weird, awkward doing this. I'm not going to do it in front of house guests. The hummingbirds are back and I hear them twittering. And buzzing. They have like a very distinct sound. And they're kind of like fighting or communicating or, I don't know, being territorial over there. So there's the issue of having people in our home and not wanting to record much video while people are there for their privacy and comfort, as well as my comfort. Also, there's a lot happening this month. One of those things was hosting somebody for 12 days. We've been busy with those comings and goings. And then also, this is a real intense garden season. And some of the time that I would dedicate to video editing specifically, like taking recordings, can fit into my schedule fairly easily. I'm still working that out, still figuring out how to do that, but that can fit in fairly easily. But the sitting down to edit and produce, publish a video, that takes a certain amount of time, a chunk of time of my week. And during intense garden season, which it is right now, getting all these different things in the ground and setting up for the success for the summer, that takes time. I've had to spend, chunks of time doing that, and it's a joy. I love it. It's not like a sacrifice, but doing that does take away from video editing and production time. So those two things combined, the having somebody in our home and hosting somebody and the intensity of gardening right now, impacts my production schedule. Because yes, I do have a production schedule, speaking of process, and this was planned for. I figured this out in April that, given these things happening in spring, I was going to have to pull back production. So that's another reason for keeping this video to that one story, which I haven't sat down to edit it yet. And I don't know even how long it's going to be or how it's going to exactly unfold. That's the mystery and discovery process of making videos. It's like, I really don't know what it's going to end up as. I would like to get better at the scripting or the figuring out the story or the story arc before I go into the production and the editing and the production. I'm working towards that. There's many things I need to grow at in this, which is part of the reason I'm doing it. But I'm aware. I'm aware of my deficiencies. And that's the thing, with YouTube and watching YouTube, I see levels of editing and production and storytelling that are aspirational for me. That can be a little intimidating, but I also have the desire to grow in this skill and to work at it and get better. And that means doing it. So that's what I'm doing, just doing it. I have a reduced production schedule for the months of May and June because of travel and hosting. So May, we hosted a child here, and gardening, like I said, it's been really busy, wonderfully busy, but still taking up my time. And in June, we are going to Montreal, my husband and I, for 2 weeks at the beginning of the month. I'm going to save what that's all about for another video. I don't plan to do a lot of recording there, but it does definitely impact production, and I just won't have the time to be working on videos for a couple weeks. So I will not be publishing as many videos in May and June as I was in the month of April, or as I plan to publish in the summer months. And that's because of life. And that's totally fine with me. Living my life is ultimately more important to me than the recording of it and the sharing of it. Although I want to do that too, but you got to juggle things, and I definitely want to live the experiences first and foremost. It is really cold out here. I need to wrap this up. I actually have a fire in the wood stove going because that's how cold it is. I'll be putting this recording together with the other recordings that I did a couple weeks ago now already, and sharing thoughts in the editing and producing of this video about what it's like for me to host people in my home and the importance of that activity for me, especially having people stay here, the importance of that as a life value, and the importance of people's comfort and sense of ease, and hopefully some coziness and some beauty that they experience when they are staying here. And that's really what this video is about. And I'm excited myself to see how it comes together. Okay. This evening, our daughter arrives for a visit. For the duration of her visit, we're going to convert my office into the guest bedroom, and that is the configuration. That's the way it's intended to work. There's a Murphy bed that comes down to make a sleeping space, but we need to clear out this space of my desk because I work in my office all the time, and while somebody is staying for that length of time, I don't want to have to be in their space. I need to move my desk out so I have my working space somewhere else, so that this room is set aside basically for her as her bedroom while she is staying. I've cleared my desk out of this space once before, and that was last summer when we had Damien's mom visit us for a month. And for that visit, I put my desk and all my office trappings. So we moved the printer and just all the different things that I regularly use for office and creative work, which includes making these videos. We moved that all out to the living room. There's a section of our living room that is under the stairs, and I kind of consider it like an alcove. I don't think it's an official alcove. I think an alcove is a space into a wall. I don't know, I'll have to look into that. But I think of it as like an alcove or a nook or something like that. And we moved my office into that space. But that turned out to be rather impractical because it's a open concept home, and that is right in the open. When I was working and doing certain things, people had to be quiet in that space. And that meant quiet in the kitchen, which is right next to where I was sitting. It was really kind of janky at times. So we're not going to do that again. And we're going to try having my desk in our bedroom. I have never done this before, and I don't even know if there's going to be enough space. In my mind, it works. And then make this into a guest bedroom. That is a process I really enjoy. I love making guest spaces. I love just making up beds for people. There's something about this making a space comfortable for people, and knowing that you're going to have people in your home and they're going to be kind of under your shelter for a while, and you're going to be caring for them in some way. I like that. I also like the intrinsic or the inherent you're going to a different place quality of having a bed made up for you, right? So I'm making a bed and a bedroom space up for somebody because they're visiting, and that has certain qualities to it. And for them it has there's certain things they're looking forward to in coming, and then for us, or for me as the host, there's things I'm looking forward to in having them here. For me, there's just a lot of positive feelings around making up a guest space, making up a bed, making a space the goal is to make it feel comfortable for whoever is coming. So that's what we get to do this morning before going into the city to pick up our daughter. So we've got a lot of work to do, so we're going to get started here and transform this space. Because we were moving all the furniture in our bedroom to make space for my desk and other pieces of furniture from my office, I figured it was a good time to do a thorough clean, not just of the room, which would happen with all the vacuuming and getting into the corners and under the bed and all that, but to also thoroughly clean my bedding. I am not one of those homemakers that has a schedule for this kind of thing. I don't have routines or systems around those things. I really enjoy systematizing in general. I do that a lot in my paid work, and I enjoy systematizing my homemaking also, where I find it to be beneficial to do so, where the, rewards, the gains are worth it. For me, systematizing laundry and when I wash bedding and that kind of thing just is not necessary with just the two of us. My system, if you could call it that, is simply to wash it and take care of things as I notice them and as they bother me and as the time becomes available, which is not really so much of a system at all. But it works for me. It works for us. We are a household of just two of us now. To be honest, though, I was never on top of the washing the bedding and linens as a mother and a homemaker for all those years while raising children. Washing sheets and changing sheets and all that was not top priority. And one of the things that I did to simplify that part of the home care routines is we used duvet covers as the top sheet of the bed. So I just find it's such a hassle to have a bottom sheet and a top sheet and then the blankets on top. I just kind of cut out that top sheet step altogether. This is one of my homemaking hacks that worked for us, and that was to use just a bottom sheet and then no top sheet, but just a duvet cover and then a blanket or a duvet. I don't think we actually had any honest to goodness duvets on our kids' beds. While they were growing up, we just had blankets that we covered in a duvet cover that served as the top sheet. And those certainly didn't get laundered very often. Tried somewhat to keep up on the bottom sheets and the pillowcases, but I wasn't really great on those either. I don't know why exactly I'm sharing all this, except that I do appreciate people talking honestly about their homemaking practices and routines, and that is one of my honest reveals. So the time that I do like to have a top sheet and not just like a duvet cover on top of me is during the coldest months of the year, so winter, when I prefer flannel sheets. Doing this thorough room cleaning, it was a great time to make the seasonal transition from the winter flannel sheets to a spring, summer bedding. We're not in summer weather yet, but we definitely can take the flannel sheets off. And I also find that at my stage of life, so I'm perimenopausal, I sleep way warmer at night than I ever used to. Flannel sheets can definitely come off the bed this time of year. So this was a good time to make the seasonal transition and change over to our regular or non-winter sheets. In doing that, I examined the pillows. I don't know about you, but pillows are one of those things that kind of grosses me out if I think about them too much. All those studies that they have done on pillows and determined that basically what constitutes a lot of the pillow mass after a certain amount of time is, I don't know, dead skin cells and mites and mite excrement or something like this. I don't remember the exact details, but pillows are one of those things that I don't like to think too deeply about. And we don't have a lot of health issues around pillows that I have been able to tell. Like our pillows don't bother us, I don't think. I don't know, maybe, but I try not to think too much about them because it's not like you can be replacing your pillows all the time. And certainly, you can wash them and what have you. That is a lot of work. I do that once in a while. Again, I do not have a regular routine for doing that. I did do all of that last year before we moved. So I don't know what the recommended. It's probably something ridiculous like wash your pillows, every 2 weeks or something. I don't know anyone who does that. Honestly, it doesn't matter to me how other people do this. Other people's routines kind of have no bearing on my own routines because they have their life and their context and I have my life and my context. So, and that's kind of actually a motto, I think, for my homemaking in general is, my context of my life, how I do things, how I manage things, the priorities I have, and how I get things done are going to look different based on a difference between contexts, right? So, pillows, I washed our pillows about a year ago. They're probably due for another wash, but that was not something I could tackle on the day that I was doing the sheets. Also, I have found some problems sometimes with washing pillows. I don't know if it's a problem with our front loading machine or if it's how I load the pillows, or meaning like I don't put the right number of pillows in. My machine will only do a spin if the load is balanced. And I've had problems when washing my pillows because the load gets unbalanced and then the machine just cannot rebalance. And when that happens, it can consume a lot of time for me in trying to solve the problem. And I did not want to deal with that on this particular day. So our pillows did not get done, but I did think about it briefly and I thought, wouldn't it be nice to also wash the pillows? And then I moved on. What I did on this day was took all the bedding off, and because we have a futon mattress, I also took some extra time and care and attention on that mattress. I'll talk briefly here about having a futon mattress. I don't know a lot of people that have futon mattresses. I don't think it's a super common thing, but we prefer and appreciate futon mattresses. I mean, for a couple reasons. Mattresses can be really expensive, and over the years, we have found futon mattresses to be more reasonably priced, but also you can get them with more natural and better materials. Mattresses can have a lot of questionable materials in them, or materials that we might want to question when we are spending so much time sleeping next to them. I should qualify that this is not an area that I do a lot of research on. We've made these mattress decisions in our lives years ago, and we just kind of keep going on with the same pattern that we've established like in years previous, which is to use futon mattresses because of their reasonable cost and because of their more natural ingredients. I don't remember what the exact ingredients, that's the wrong word, what the exact materials are in the mattress that we have now. I think it's something like cotton or wool. The materials in this mattress were better than what we could find in the same price point in non-futon mattresses. The other thing about choosing futon mattresses is that my husband finds them really comfortable. And I say he does. I'm a pretty easygoing sleeper, and at least I have been for my life up till now. I can sleep on a lot of different kinds of mattresses. My husband is more particular about that, as in like his body just isn't comfortable on certain mattresses. And futon mattresses have been comfortable for him. So the futon mattress is just the top layer, and it has a cover, and I took that off to wash it. And the straps that you see, these are because futons are designed to be rolled up and put away during the day. At least that's their like historical and cultural context. We don't use it like that. We have it laid out all the time on our bed. So, but the straps are still on there, and we've kept them on there because it's handy. It is handy for if you ever do need to roll it up. Those can be handy. What I did on this day was took off the mattress cover and then took the actual mattress outside for an airing. Just like cleaning pillows, there's recommendations for how often you should do this. And it's probably way more often than I get around to doing it. I feel like I do this about once a year. This time of year, actually, spring's a great time for that. And the sun, definitely want to have it in the sun. The sunshininess of the day inspired me to take this next step in doing my cleaning. Like the cliche goes, make hay while the sun shines. Well, there's many things that are good to do while the sun shines, and airing out a futon mattress is one of them. So we have the futon mattress, and then underneath that we have not exactly a box spring, but like a cheaper and cheaper material quality mattress from IKEA. And what it does is it just lifts the mattress off of the bottom of the bed, because otherwise, I mean, the mattress itself is pretty thin, so it lifts it up a bit, and it does add a little bit more cushioning. We could have also had a couple inch layer of foam, and that would probably have done similar to what the IKEA mattress achieves. And I'm pretty sure actually that IKEA mattress, what it is, some foam. Mattresses is actually not anything I do anytime talking about. So it's kind of strange to be talking about my mattresses. But because they are very clearly on this video, I thought I need some explanation here and some context for what is going on and all the cleaning that I am doing here. Also, I do find these details interesting because we learn like tips and tricks and hacks, and I don't want to say like alternative, but this is a little bit of an alternative bedding situation. It's not just a straight up, I don't know, whatever they're called, Sealy Posturepedic. I don't know. I don't keep on top of mattress brands, but it's a little bit of a different configuration than you might normally find. So on this clean the bedding day, the futon also got an airing out in the sun. This sunny day was also really great for line drying everything. So I could wash the sheets and also the blankets. And oh, I just love blankets and sheets and really anything on the clothesline. In fact, I have a whole episode about this clothesline and how much I love it. While the sheets were off the bed, I did some vacuuming, and then it was time to make the bed up with sheets and a springtime blanket. The next day after shooting this video, I had a Costco trip. We've had the same duvet since the beginning of our marriage. So we've been married 29 years this summer. That duvet is very old. That duvet had reached the end of its useful life. It had lost so many feathers by this point. The fabric had worn through along the edging of the duvet so that feathers would just be escaping all the time. And they would collect then in the duvet cover, especially in the corners. So if you've had any experience changing a duvet cover, you take the cover off and there'll be collections of lint and stuff. Well, we had just like, I'm not going to say handfuls of feathers, but there would be a lot of feathers stuck in those corners. I got to the point last fall where I was like, this duvet has got to go. But I wasn't prepared financially to replace it. And so we just used other blankets over the winter, and we were very cozy and they were very fine. And then this spring, I bought a new duvet. And wow, what a difference the new duvet makes. I hadn't realized how just flat and essentially inconsequential our duvet had become. It still provided some warmth, but there was zero loft by this point. And I did launder it regularly, although I have already explained I'm not the greatest at washing the bedding and the pillows and stuff. I have taken care of that duvet, and it certainly got plenty of washes over the years and the proper kind of drying that it needs. But still, I mean, like things wear out, and it was almost 30 years old. So it was time for a new one. And wow, our new duvet is so lovely. It just feels like, I don't know, sleeping under clouds or something compared to what we had before, which was a very sad and worn out blanket. I am just loving crawling into bed every night underneath the springtime duvet cover and this pillowy, soft cloud kind of blanket on top of me. So that's the cleaning of the bedding and getting our bedroom space refreshed for spring and summer as part of the process of moving my office into our bedroom. It was a great time to do so, and we had this gorgeous sunny day for the cleaning and washing and laundry hanging, and it was a really pleasurable part of this task. Before I move on in the video, I have 3 questions for you for those that are still watching or coming in at this point. And if you're here, yay, I'm so happy you're at this point. Here are my questions. How often do you wash your pillows? And you can remain anonymous if you wish, but am I the only one who doesn't wash them as recommended? And if I am, maybe I don't even want to know. Okay, so that's the first question. Second question, does your front-loading washing machine get off center when doing pillows or really anything that gets really wet, and then have trouble spinning it out? Do you have a fix or a strategy for that? Do you have a way of, I don't know, loading the washing machine so that it doesn't do that? And my third question, and this is a very important one, are you team sheet set or team duvet as top sheet? How I envisioned this, and I hope it's going to work, is that we have to change this room around so that my desk can go there. Okay, so we have to move the bed, and we're going to have to change. We're gonna lose some space around there because we're going to have to push this, and we're going to have to probably push that.
You want your desk there because you want to look up for the light.
Yeah, I want the light. I do not want to be staring at that wall. We are done. The room set up, switcheroo, transformation, can't even think of any other words to describe it right now. We're done moving my desk and my office set up to our bedroom and setting up the office as the guest bedroom, which it does double duty as. Mostly it's my office, sometimes it's the guest room, and it's ready for our daughter's arrival, and we're super excited to have her. While I was doing some of this, Damien's cleaned the bathroom. I still have to do a bit more things in there, like clear a space for her stuff and put the fresh towel and get towels, that kind of stuff. So I need to go do that. I am exhausted, or I should say I still have energy to carry through to the end of this, which is I have like another hour of work or so in cleaning up the like tornado that is our entry slash mudroom slash laundry, all the things space. I have to clean that space up. Also, I wanted to move some things around on the dining room table and in the kitchen. When we're here just by ourselves, which is most of the time, I just kind of let my stuff take up a lot of space. So the dining room table has been full of gardening things, gardening books and my journals and plants and seeds, and lots is going on there, as I talked about in the video on spring gardening. But I would like to have that space be a space where people can eat and gather. Also, we're hosting family tomorrow night, so I have to clean that up anyways. Might as well get it done now. So I have some work to do in the kitchen and in our laundry. I still don't know what to call that area. Our laundry, entry, mudroom, linen closet, extra fridge and freezer storage. There must be a name for that space. If you have any ideas what to name this space, I would love to hear them. I don't know what it's called. I should talk to my dad. He built the house, and on the plans, it might have been called something. I should talk to him. But it is a very useful and versatile space. It serves so many purposes and is so functional in our home. I'm pretty exhausted at this point. I've been going hard for the last 3 hours at least. I get going and I'm very busy, and I'm just kind of rushing around doing all manner of things, trying to get the spaces ready. So basically the main thing and the main goal of getting these rooms ready is done, and now I'm just kind of picking up the pieces of the disaster that was created while doing that. My goal when we have people stay is that they are as comfortable here as is possible for me to create for them. So there are some things that are out of our control, out of my control, that I cannot make situations perfect for people, and I don't think it's perfection that brings the comfort or the sense of hospitality either. I think it's about heart and intention and using what you have and making it as comfortable as you're able. And that's what I try to do when we have people stay, and I'm in that season now where the people that are coming to stay are our children. Like creating a space for them that can feel very cozy and homey. I want people to be at ease when they're in our home, especially our children who did not grow up in this home. So if you're familiar with the story of us living here, we moved here as we emptied the nest. Our kids have never lived in this home, but they have visited many times because this was their grandparents' home before we lived here. So our kids are very familiar with this home, come here many times, and in that way it feels home-like to them, I think, or at least part of their childhood memories, positive childhood memories. Now it is our family home. It is the place that our kids come to when they come to visit their parents. And I really want it to be a place of comfort and welcome for them. So the energies I spend in getting the space ready are directed towards that and are very rewarding for me. It feels very good. I'm very satisfied in the doing of the getting ready. But I must finish that space that is chaotic, and I don't want chaos when we come home tonight with our daughter from Halifax, so I gotta get to it. I am just finishing editing this video. I'm literally at the last frame and recording this voiceover to finish it off. I did not expect this video to go quite in the direction that it did, with talking so much about bedding and homemaking routines and homemaking practices around bedding and linens and mattresses. That was unexpected. So, like I said at the very beginning of this video, I had a bunch of recordings that I had done earlier this month related to getting the room ready for our daughter's visit. I did a lot of recording, apparently, of cleaning up our bedroom in advance and taking the sheets off the bed and airing the futon out, all that stuff. And when I sat down to put this video together and thought about what story I would want to tell and wanted to include some of that recording that I had done, I thought I should do a voiceover talking about kind of what I did that day. And then I just went with it and decided, well, let's talk about homemaking routines around bedding. So yeah, that was unexpected. And like I said at the beginning of this video, there's a mystery to this process, and you never know what you're going to come out with in the end. And well, this is what we came out with in the end this time. Also, as you can see from this video footage you're seeing right now, which is fresh and live today, third week of May, my desk and office space is still in the bedroom. It was a lot of work to move it over here, and just don't have the energy to move it back. And I have to say, I'm actually enjoying the change in location. It's kind of nice to have a different view, even if it is just the woodshed. But, you know, I've been watching the trees also, but it's just nice to have a change. And so I'm here for now. And eventually I'll move back to the dedicated office, but also we're expecting more kids this summer. Yay, we're very excited. So maybe I'll stay here for a while yet. We'll see. Thanks so much for watching, and I really appreciate you being here. I'll be posting my next video mid-June after we are back from our Montreal trip, and who knows what that video will be about. I hope that you'll be back for it. I'll see you then.